I don't know where Hexcells came from. I just looked on my Steam account one day and all 3 of the games were there. I don't even know why I played it. I guess I was just looking for a way to kill a few hours. It's unusual of me to boot up a game without knowing anything about it, but I'm pleased I did, because Hexcells has become my go-to game when I have a few minutes spare. There are some games that come and go, while there are others that I always have installed, just in case. Hexcells is one of those games. It's ideal to play on a train, or a coach, or just when I'm waiting for somebody to come around. It's Minesweeper, but each cell has 6 adjacent cells, as opposed to the usual 4. Left click on a cell if you think it's a mine, right click if there isn't. And the best thing about it is, if you're good enough, every level can be beaten without making a single mistake. No matter how little information you're given, it will always be enough for you to figure out another part of the puzzle. No guesswork is ever needed. This being a puzzle game, you'd hope this would be the case. But you try telling Minesweeper that. When I realised that guesswork wasn't needed, it changed the way I viewed this game. Before that revelation, I'd often click on a cell, unsure if it was right or not. Maybe I had stumbled upon a level that couldn't be beaten with the information given to me. But no, they always can be. And if you can't figure it out, get good, scrub. And it annoys me when I see other people playing this game only to guess a cell. No, don't guess! Know it! Get good. There are 3 Hexcells games, but it's important you do them in order. Hexcells is the easiest and will probably take you an hour or so to beat. Hexcells Plus is next and is much, much harder. And then Hexcells Infinite is so hard that it'll make you cry. Start on that one and you'll probably not become a fan of this series. Although they get difficult, the games are surprisingly forgiving. You don't even have to get a level 100% right to get the maximum points. It will let you make 1 mistake for free. And you can restart the level whenever you want, free of consequence. And now with a better idea of which cells are what. But while that may sound overly generous, trust me, by the time you reach the final few stages, you'll be happy with whatever help you can get. This would be a rather dry video without some examples of Hexcells in action, so here's the first level of the first game. This one has a 6, so we know that all of the surrounding ones are mines that need left clicking, while this block has a 0, so we know that none of the blocks around it contain mines, so we should right click on all of them. Oh look, this one has a 1, so we know that this cell must be a mine. Level finished. This sort of tutorial level lures you into a false sense of security, as though such simple mechanics will never pose a challenge to you. But oh, they will. If you play all 3 games in order, the challenge builds gradually. Each level feels harder than the last, but you'll have just enough experience to botch your way through. You won't feel like you're improving, but it's worth occasionally trying an older level again, because it'll be a lot easier than your first attempt was. And with that you'll see how far you've come as a Hexcells player. Starting the next level is always a daunting task. You know that it will be harder than the ones that came before it, and you know that you'll make a few stupid mistakes near the end and will have to do it all over again for the best score. But you'll keep returning, and every time you attempt a level, you'll get better. And it's the good kind of getting better too. Less about memorising the levels, and more about honing your detective skills. By the time you've beaten all 3 games, you will have developed a 6th sense. A Hexcells sense. For instance, 5 of the blocks around this one are mines, which means that only 1 of them is not. Since only 1 of them around this one contains a mine, we know that it has to be one of these 2, since if there are 5 around this one, then at least 1 of these 2 will be a mine, or at most 2. But it can't be 2 because only 1 of the ones surrounding this one could be a mine. So from this we know for sure that these 4 can't be mines, while these 4 here have to be. Which of these 2 is a mine will remain a mystery for now, but we'll be able to figure it out eventually, because now we know that the 2 empty cells next to the one saying 2 have to be mines, and now because this one's touching the one with a 1, all of the other ones next to it aren't mines and we can untick all of these. And now we know the final mine around the 5 must be this one. And so on. The rules are beautifully simple, yet the puzzles become fiendishly difficult. To an onlooker, speedrunning a Hexcell level must look like witchcraft. You eventually become good enough to skip stages of working out a puzzle. Your subconscious will start shouting out the answers while your conscious brain's still crunching through the 10 parts of the puzzle leading up to that point. That's when it gets really rewarding. It's similar to when you successfully work out how much your shopping's going to cost, even if you can only half remember all of the individual prices. It is easy to cheat in Hexcells, to luckily get a few of the cells you're not supposed to know just yet. But the enjoyment from this game comes from solving it properly. The more you play it, the more you'll feel this way. On your first playthrough, you'll probably just want to get through it all. But stick around after having completed the campaign and I promise you, that feeling will change. I have beaten all 3 Hexcell games several times, but I still love starting them again. The challenge of the stages has been replaced with the sheer enjoyment I get simply from doing them. Yes, I probably remember what most of the cells are by now, but I wouldn't bother cheating. Why would I? I'd only be cheating myself. Plus, I'm good enough to do them properly now. There's no excuse for mistakes. Sometimes I get complacent and do make one. I feel like a right idiot when that happens now, but when I put my mind to it, I make very few mistakes. I'm good at this game, and that makes me happy. I continue to play Hexcells purely for the love of puzzle solving, and in stringing together parts of the puzzle in one smooth sequence. As the puzzles start mostly orange, eventually becoming satisfying patchworks of black and blue. Hexcells Infinite is eventually where you'll spend most of your time. The puzzles in its campaign are longer and harder than the rest. But unlike the other two games, it also saves your progress, which is just as well for some of the longer stages, and it comes with a random level generator, which is a miracle of level design in itself. You'll never run out of puzzles to do, though they do lack the ingenuity and difficulty that the handmade campaign ones have. Hexcells is more rewarding than it looks. It's deceptively simple, yet next to impossible to explain what the appeal of it is to a new player. You've just got to click on those cells for yourself, and you too will fall in love with the game. It's been an unexpected but very welcome discovery of mine. The least I can do is to share this little gem with you, too.